Alright, so update 8.5 came out for anime Vanguards, and what type of Roblox channel would I be if I didn't drop an 8+ minute video discussing the update? Now, usually when I put out these type of overview, opinions, and thoughts videos, I try to give it a couple days, right? Let the update marinate, but truthfully speaking, I'm not going to have motivation to do this video later, and it's not like the update was huge. We had 4 new units, a new raid, a new familiar, and that's basically about it. Like, that's the main meat and potatoes of the update. That's what the majority of people are going to be focusing on anyway. Yes, we got a bunch of quality of life changes and a bunch of bug fixes, but, you know, between me and you, I don't think those are the main focuses of the update. So I think we'll be fine. But, you know, it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows, obviously. We'll start off with the not so good. Man, delay upon delay upon delay. This was just comical, dude. It was supposed to come out on Monday. Like, ideally it would have come out on Sunday. If I'm being honest, I loved when they came out on the weekend because then I'd have ample time to just grind it out before I had to go to class. But hey, it's whatever. If it needs to drop on Monday, it needs to drop on Monday. And then it didn't. Then it got delayed all the way to Tuesday. And then it dropped like pretty recently on Tuesday too. I thought it was going to come out Tuesday morning, but you know, I can look past the delays because they did give us 100 rerolls for free. That was pretty cool. You know, shit. If I can trade like 1 day of delay for 100 rerolls, I would have probably let the update get delayed for at least a week. You know, give me my 700 rerolls. I wouldn't mind that at all, but I'm getting off topic. 4 new units. Gogeta, Stark, Frieza, and obviously the new Vanguard, which is Broly. I think this update is good for one reason, and the main reason being that I'm seeing the game shift a lot more towards casual play instead of being this extremely hardcore, mechanic-heavy anime tower defense game, which is what I feel is the direction that they were going towards during times like the Attack on Titan update, which was known as a pretty decently sized flop on their end. This update is honestly not that hard to complete, all things considered. If you compare the Broly Vanguard questline, or like the Vegeta Vanguard questline, since I guess it is Vegeta that is evolving into Broly, compare that to Sung Jin Woo's Vanguard Evo questline. Oh, let me tell you, one of them is clearly easier than the other. And don't get me wrong, the Broly quest is still going to take you a good amount of time to do. It is definitely a time-consuming quest, but it is so much easier than the Sung Jin Woo one. I think it has 4 steps. You're going to have to, you know, obviously evolve the 3 Dragon Ball units. Then you're going to have to do, at some point you have to kill Frieza 10 times. I know the last stage of it is just saving Broly inside the raid after you collect the 7 Dragon Balls, which is cool. Something else that I liked was the little 7 Dragon Balls mechanic, where if you collect all 7, you can wish for power, success, or something else. I'm gonna let you guys know what the best one is. You can have 200 rerolls for free if you choose success. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure that's the one. Yeah, just get the free rerolls, bro. Like, who wants 100,000 gems when gems are so easy to farm? And who cares about gold? Hey, nobody give a fuck about gold. Rerolls are where it's at. And on the topic of rerolls, they were pretty generous this update. We got a 50 reroll code, a 100 reroll code. Bro, Frieza is just insanely strong. This guy, if you have Monarch on him, I think off placement, he's one of the highest DPS units in the game, if you're counting the little minions that he can spawn. I don't know if Monarch is his ideal trait, but I do want to talk about ideal traits a little bit later. I'm pretty sure it is. Frieza's just incredibly good, and I love the mechanic where if you complete the new raid with only Frieza, you have a 20% chance of getting Gogeta. For those people that want to get him a little faster, absolutely love that. The quality of life changes, as always, universally loved. Nobody's going to complain that they're making the game better. The unit selection, Dragon Ball is an extremely hype anime. I'm sure there's nobody complaining there. I yearn for the day that this game gets a One Piece update. Oh my goodness. I promise you, the day they update for One Piece and give us a Gear 5 Luffy Vanguard is the day that this game reaches like at least 200,000 CCU. Oh my days. But yeah, anime choice, spectacular. Everybody knows Dragon Ball. Everybody loves Dragon Ball. Who doesn't want to grind out for the super duper cool new Dragon Ball unit? Stark is actually a pretty surprising World Lines unit. I'm currently on floor 30 of World Lines. I took a break for today. I can't be asked to play the game anymore. That's kind of why I got footage for another game for this video. And the raid itself is not that hard either. Although, you know, I'll show the team that I'm using to beat the raid right now. Might be a tad bit overkill. You know, maybe I don't need all of these units to solo the raid. But let me tell you, it is pretty easy with this team. Overall, if I had to give this update a numerical rating from a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a very, very strong 7.5. Maybe an 8. You know, if the update grows on me a little more, it might be able to reach an 8. But I really don't see any huge major complaints besides there was like a Gogeta bug when the update first came out. I believe that's fixed now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, the delays, nobody likes getting told that the update is going to release at one time and then we have to wait an entire extra day. So, will they be able to fix that in future updates? I don't really know. I can only hope so. But as of right now, Anime Vanguards firmly sits at the Anime Tower Defense game with the highest player count, and it is for good reason. These past few updates have been pretty enjoyable, not too hard, cool cast of characters, the characters themselves are really, really strong. So, I think they're in a really good spot right now. Honestly, they are in an amazing, amazing spot. In terms of critiques for this update, I really don't think I have any huge glaring issues that I'd want to go over. Obviously, you know, nobody likes delays, nobody likes bugs. But I can't just make my feedback, hey, never have bugs and never delay again. Because as much as we'd all love that, in an ideal world, that's just never going to happen in the real world. If I had to give you a singular nitpick about something that mildly annoyed me this update, it would be the fact that the cucumber mount, which you get from buying the bundle, he is too tall for his own good, and every time that I try to go into a room, his big ass long neck doesn't let me, so I can't go inside with my mount. Obviously, this is a huge non-issue. It doesn't really matter that much. The solution to this problem is to just get off of your mount to go into the room. But I like using my mount, and I like going into rooms with my mount. That's why my favorite one is probably the bicycle. It's like the AV bike. That one's one of my favorites. Pretty fun to use, and it's not too tall, so I can go wherever I want. But that's, like I said, just a little personal gripe. If you told me to give you any criticisms based on the game's core game design, on the updates, on content that is just unfair, unfun, or just not very pleasing to complete, I don't think I could do that. I honestly think the direction that the game is heading in is in a pretty good place, not only for the players, but for the fucking wallets of the developers as well. I'm sure they definitely enjoy having updates break 100,000 concurrent players on update day. And yeah, like I said, I'd give this update a strong 7.5, maybe an 8. I still think my favorite update of all time probably going to be Winter Portals. It's either Winter Portals or Update 1 with Jujutsu Kaisen. That was also a really fun update. But I think that's it for me. I think that's all that I have to say. So let me know in the comments if you like the update, if you dislike the update. Are there any glaring, pressing issues that you think I didn't address in this video? Because I really don't think there's anything majorly wrong with this update. Everything is nice and easy. Not too easy, not too hard, but let's be honest, most of it is pretty laughably easy. You can solo the entirety of the new raid with just Frieza, which is an intended game mechanic, right? You have a 20% increased chance of getting Gogeta if you complete the raid with just Frieza. But what I'm trying to say is, this update isn't exactly going to take you weeks upon weeks to complete. You'll be able to get it done pretty quickly and pretty easily. My next order of business is just going to be to get Stark because I really, really love him. And he seems super cool. His passive seems super cool. Broly, you know, right, the new Vanguard, definitely will take you some time to get it. But it is, you know, if you want to complain about this questline, just imagine what it was like doing the Sungjin Woo Vanguard questline for the first time. And be grateful. Just be grateful that it is multiple steps easier now. But I think that's all from me. Have a great day night wherever you are. Stay tuned for more content. Next video should be about Anime Crusaders. I want to play the game a little more before I can give a real concrete opinion. But little spoiler alert, game pretty good. Game pretty solid. But yeah, that's it for me. See ya.